What up, Unstoppables? We have a great episode today, but real quick, we want to invite you to make the most important investment of your life. It's not a secret. There's no smoke and mirrors. I'm not even trying to pull a fast one on you. I'm going to be pretty straightforward. The best investment you can make in your life is in yourself. And the best way to invest in yourself is by investing in your network, putting time and energy, surrounding yourself with the best. You are the average of those you surround yourself with. In that Restaurant Unstoppable network, I made it easy. Over the past 12 years and 1,200 plus episodes, I've been researching and talking to people and trying to figure out how do you become successful in the restaurant industry. And I've curated a network of tools, services, technologies, and individuals, experts that I would go to tomorrow if I'm opening a restaurant. And I'm bringing you to that network with live events, whether it be a workshop, a mentoring session, a power hour, or access to me twice a month where I just listen and steer you in the right direction, all happening at Restaurant Unstoppable Network. Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/live. You also get this amazing access to all the recordings, RU Network podcast, which includes bonus ad-free and early release content. It also gives you access to our Unstoppable bot. It is a custom AI agent that is fed with 1,200 plus transcripts, over 2,400 hours of transcripts plus bonus content, all cross-referenced with our database. This is a powerful AI tool that you also get access to as well. What are you waiting for? Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/live and we'll see you there. This episode made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guests, co-founders of Cerboni Services, Maria Degaine and Joshua Santana. My lady, my man, are you feeling unstoppable today?
Yes.
Yeah. And you should be feeling unstoppable because I've heard nothing but amazing things about Cerboni's in my travels, getting incredible testimonials. And I'm really excited to dive into who you are, what you're all about. Before we dive into who Cerboni is, let's get that motivational, inspirational ball rolling with a success quote or a mantra. What do you got for us?
Teamwork.
Yeah.
I think Bill Gates has this phrase that it means a lot. I think it's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
I love that.
Right? So that's what it's about.
It's so true. And I think we're going to get into how you go further with Cerboni today. I think that's going to come out in today's conversation. We're actually going to be discussing 7 reasons to outsource your financial solutions. And before we get into those 7 reasons, just real quick, what is Cerboni in one sentence or 2 sentences max?
Yeah, I'd say for me or for us, I think we're more than just bookkeepers. We're more than just financial advisors. We're
and a strategic partner.
We're a strategic partner, I would say.
Yeah. And that's what I've heard from people on the road. I've spoken to many of your clients today, and some of the words that they said when I asked them that question, what is Cerboni in one sentence? Freedom is one word that came up. Peace of mind. And it's because they can stay in their lane and focus what they love, whether that be front of house or back of house, wherever you fall in the world of restaurants, and they can outsource to the specialists, and you go further together. And it's so true. So I kind of want to get an idea of who you are individually before we kind of dive into these 7 reasons to outsource your financial services. So real quick, 2017 is when Cerboni started, right?
That's right.
So why did it start? What's the origin story?
Yeah, so I'd say in the beginning, my background is in tax and accounting. I graduated from the University of Houston, and I had my own practice. And I met Maria through her restaurant that she and her husband owned, and it was something where they needed a little bit more assistance and help on tax and accounting side. So then we, through mutual friends, we were able to connect, and we had the idea. Maria brought the idea of let's create a business for accounting specifically for the restaurant and hospitality industry.
Did it not exist? Could you not find something like this in 2007? Was there a void in the market?
I think it exists. Some accounting firms that's is more focused in the restaurant. But being an operator as well and own restaurants, I I think it makes a lot of difference when you really understand the lingo of the industry, right? Talking with your accounting team and understand what is the difference between tip share and tip pool, and how you manage your deposits when you use triple C to doing catering.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of difference when you can talk with your accounting team and they have this understanding.
Yeah, the
right?
restaurant industry is a very unique beast.
Yes.
And you need specialists. So Maria, you were a restaurateur before starting
Yes.
Cerboni.
Yes.
And you are, I think I hear an accent. Is that safe to say? When
Yes.
did you come to America?
I came to US. Well, my first time in US was in 2005.
Okay.
I worked in Sun Valley, Idaho, where I met my husband, who's a chef.
Okay.
And then we came here to Houston in 2016.
Okay.
And we opened our first restaurant. He now has 4 restaurants, and I'm 100% here in Cerboni. Cerboni today manages hundreds of locations across U.S., Canada, and some islands in the Caribbean.
Okay. And was it Brazil?
I'm from Brazil, yes.
And you had restaurants in Brazil
I had
as well.
restaurants in Brazil,
So you're
too.
an accomplished restaurateur yourself. You sold your businesses.
Yes, exactly.
So you're very well versed in the world of restaurants.
Yes.
So so what lane would you say you're in here at Cerboni? Like, what's your focus?
So my focus is I'm director of business development.
Okay.
So I work a lot with our restaurant operators in regards, the technologies that we're gonna implement to streamline process. I work hand in hand with our CFO team, right? For me, it's very important bring visibility to our clients, right? Because a lot of times the restaurant owners and restaurant team is very busy during the operation, and with the amount of data and information that comes to the operators, it's how can we simplify, right? How can we translate this data in order to take financial decisions and operational decisions? So that's my role here, more the operational side.
And in 2016, you discovered Joshua, and it was to do your taxes, correct?
That's right.
And you had a former accountant that kind of messed up your taxes. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Joshua came and saved the day. And
Exactly.
that's kind of the first impression Joshua made. I
Yes.
got a little bit of the backstory before.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
What was it about Joshua originally that made you think, I want to partner with this guy?
Joshua is the knowledge. I think it's something we talk a lot, right, with our team, with our clients. The knowledge makes a lot of difference, right? So when Joshua came and we worked together on my tax return, I said, look, I told my husband, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to leave you with the restaurants and I'm gonna go visit Joshua and see if we can open something specialized for the restaurant industry.
So was it whose vision was it? Was it a shared vision, or who pitched who on starting Cerboni Services?
Oh, Maria definitely did the pitching.
So you're the entrepreneurial visionary. Is that safe
Yes,
to say?
safe to say.
Cool. So same question. When Maria pitched you and said, let's join forces, what was it about Maria that made you feel like I should totally join this lady as a business partner?
I would say the confidence. Confidence definitely, as well as her background as being an operator. I think it gives an upside on knowing the industry in specifics. And her hands got dirty in the restaurant industry. She knows the lingo as well. It's something that's a benefit, which I think throughout Cerboni's growth has been tremendous, in not only in our success, but as well as to be able to provide that niche service.
Yeah. Before Maria approached you to be her accountant and to partner, were you gravitating towards the restaurant industry? Or was this an area, a niche that you carved out for yourself?
So it was an area that I dabbled in.
Okay.
I did have restaurant clients. I did know credits. I know the workaround in the restaurant industry, but I would say it flooded more opportunity when I partnered with Maria, because she had more accessibility. She had more of the lingo. She had more of the, I'd say, back of the house knowledge.
Got it. And where is Cerboni today in terms of the clients you have, like the big picture, like what Cerboni has grown into? And like this, I guess your reach, you're nationwide, right?
Yes, today we manage around 800 locations.
Wow.
We manage, we have clients with one location. We have clients multi-units. So, yeah.
Cool.
We are very
blessed, lucky. Yeah, for sure. And so I want to give a little context. And now that we know how you two found each other and how Cerboni started, I discovered you organically through Jason Carrier, founder of Mama Betty's, just opened his second Mama Betty's, just opened a pizza place, just opened a cocktail bar. This guy's a madman. I don't know how he does it all, but during that conversation, like right out of the gates, he just gave Cerboni this incredible testimonial. So he went from 1.5 million his first year in revenue, and you helped him go to I don't know how you helped him get 6.5. I'm sure a lot of that was just him improving. Maybe it was the strategic advisory with your CFO operation, Jody, who I want to talk to later this week. You helped bring his prime cost to 71% to 57%, and you helped him bring his profit up to 25% on $6.5 million. Those are really great numbers. So and this is the thing that I loved. He said that you helped him save $7,000 per quarter by just moving a decimal point one way, which is just one example of what happens when you go to the experts. Like, we're not all meant to be accountants. We're not all meant to know the intricacies of tax and all these. Like, one little change can make a huge difference. And when you get those specialists, it's like some people will say, like, I can't afford that, but it pays for itself. You can't afford not to do it, is my argument. Mm-hmm. So I want to be clear. I reached out to Cerboni. I wanted to learn more about Cerboni. I came to you and I said, I want to learn more. And this is what I want Restaurant Unstoppable to be going forward is boots on the ground, talking to operators, finding these incredible stories, and then figuring out, how did you do this? And a big part of Jason's success was I went to Cerboni. So that's why I'm here right now. And I can't wait to dive in deeper. So today we're going to cover the 7 reasons to outsource your financial operations. What is I'll just say the first reason we wrote down is to get your access to a team of specialists. So what specialists does Cerboni bring to the table?
Yeah, for sure. Tax specialists, payroll, also accounting, the fractional CFO. We also have inventory. I would say those would be our main specialists that we have in-house that we're able to alleviate from the operator and bring in to us, right? And in specific, what we can do in tax, right? I think tax is always a headache, not only with IRS notices, but as well as finding that great credits, the necessary credits that we're able to apply for, I think is also important, right? Payroll in itself is a huge headache that we notice that's always in operators spending hours on. How can we streamline this process so that we're not spending as much time in order to pay people, right? Because you have to get these individuals paid.
Well, one thing I'm curious about, let's just say like a 2 to 3 unit operator, right? How much money would they spend, do you think, if they went out and they went to an individual specialist in all these areas? Tax, payroll, accounting, hiring a CFO. Like, what would the annual expense of that be? Like, ballpark. You know better than I do.
Yeah, so just CFO itself, right? If you don't do a fractional CFO, would cost around anywhere between $2,500 to $6,000 per month, depending on the size of operation. What we can do here, it's because of the accessibility of data, right? Because we manage different concepts, different size of companies, right? We can benchmark. So we have the data, right? We can meet with the client and say, look, in your region, you're spending 3% on utilities. Your electricity bill it seems too high. This is something that we need to negotiate, right? Your cost of goods sold is too high. It can be several things that make your cost of goods sold too high, right? It can be waste, can be inventory. cost of goods sold itself, right? Prices going up. So we can see how much, another pizza concept is paying the cheese close to you and how much you are paying and say, look, I think we have margin here to negotiate. So that is the beauty, right? To have a group of team that can work towards your success.
So it's not just the savings on, having individual transactions with all these specialists. Like when you consolidate and bring it to one or under one roof, you're going to save. But on top of that, having these specialists paying attention to all of the different touch points of the restaurant industry, they're not siloed. They're all together under one roof. They're talking, and they also have multiple clients where they can see and what are the benchmarks? Like we know if this costs are high, we can advocate. We can see the big picture. So, am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And another thing, also often you're gonna see, situations that the clients, they have a bookkeeping company and they have another company filing CPA filing the tax return, right?
Does a CFO do CPA work too, or is a CFO more just a strategy looking to the future?
It's more of strategy looking into the future. And then we bring in our tax department to also have that conversation on strategies on how to save tax structure.
Right.
I think it's also important how you grow is also creating a good foundation to build upon it. Right. It's not, I'm just going to one day open an LLC and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was just talking to he's not a client of yours, but he was very impressive with his knowledge of playing the taxes, working the taxes, Jimmy Hollers from Tailgaters. And just to have somebody on your team with a breadth of knowledge, a wide swath of knowledge on how to play the taxes, what he would do, he would take advantage of whoever was in office and he would intentionally scale. He would spend as much money as possible when you would get certain tax credit. Like I guess depending on whose office and the current regulations that are out there, either you can all the money that you get on equipment or buying new locations can be deducted in 1 year, or depending on the laws in any given time, you might have to spread that out over years.
Yeah, depreciation.
Yes.
So, and just to add, depreciation is great as long as we know what we're purchasing and how we strategize. There's the 179. Do I need a business vehicle? But it's not just a business vehicle that we're going to utilize. Does it weigh more than 6,000 pounds so that I'm able to get this depreciation expense now versus having to do it over a 5-year period?
Right.
It's nice to get this deduction all now so that I save this money so that I can spend in other equipment or spend in invest into my employees or update my chairs. I'm able to utilize this for the restaurant.
Yeah, but knowing what the current regulations are or whatever policies are in place at any given time and how to leverage those policies, he just made some really incredible points, and that just popped into my head. So he happens to be a restaurateur who really understands that world, but most restaurateurs don't.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else to add relative to number one of the 7 reasons to outsource your financial operations to get access to a team of specialists? Anything else you want to share?
So I think, I touched upon the payroll part. I think also having those letters, because a lot of times IRS or the state in itself sends you letters. Oh, you owe a balance due because of back taxes on specifically payroll or even unemployment. That just becomes burdensome. It's time consuming. It needs to get done, and spending that time elsewhere, maybe not necessarily buried in all that paperwork, can save a lot of money and time as well. I think that's also super important.
And I'm tempted to ask, but I know you guys are case by case. Not all 2 clients are exactly the same. You really customize the services, the solutions to match where the client is. It's kind of like Toast, where Toast, you don't have to use all the features of Toast, but you can turn on features as you need them as you scale. So,
but the beauty also, you always gotta have Cerboni as your corporate office. So even if we don't process payroll for that client and they receive a letter from a 941 that was filed incorrectly, they have somebody to support, right? It can be an add-on service, but they have a team that can support, even if we don't provide the service on a monthly basis.
Got it. Anything to add, Joshua?
No, I think she hit the nail on the head. It's something that we're going to be able to resolve. And I think that's the end game. solutions. How can I resolve or get the solution to this problem? And we have the solution.
Yeah. Yep. So number one, to get access to a team of specialists. So how did we start today's conversation so you can go further together? What was the quote? Do you remember it?
Yes. By yourself, you can go fast, right? But together you can go far.
Yeah.
So, and that is really what Cerboni about. And I think that is the beauty, right? You can grow fast and go much farther if you have specialists working towards your growth, right?
Yeah.
And here you're gonna have the bookkeeper, the accounting team doing your books. You're gonna have the inventory team taking care about your usage costs, right? Making sure that everything is correct, that unit of measure is correct. All of that to make the difference, right? When we close the books, the numbers tell a story.
Yeah.
And our numbers need to be correct.
Yeah. I think we can move on to number 2. What do you say?
Yeah.
So number 2 of our 7 reasons to outsource your financial operations is to eliminate turnover. What do you mean by that?
So with the restaurant industry, right, we know that the turnover is a topic, right? So especially when the client starts to use some platforms like Restaurant 365, Margin Edge, Extra Chef, inventory systems, right? You train the personnel to be able to use those platforms. And when this person leaves, now you have a database that can be easily messy because you have more people touching, and that is eliminated when we work with a company like Cerboni, because you have a team here that can manage your database, right? And there is no vacation.
Right.
There is no...
Cerboni is not quitting anytime soon.
Yes, we are not... Exactly. And your system works, right?
Yeah.
Joshua? So I just to add on, it's more of if someone leaves your office or someone leaves the restaurant, you have someone here to be able to fill in those shoes as rapid as possible versus having somebody in-house. They leave, you're stuck. Maybe you don't know the procedure, you don't know what needs to be done. And bringing someone on additional or bringing someone new is going to bring a new idea on how to use that system or how to categorize a certain expense or an asset. Versus having everything seamless, uniform, is always going to be consistent.
Yeah, that was the word that was in my mind, was the inconsistencies of having different people pull the strings on the tools, right? And
exactly.
that inconsistency in data, like you're seamless.
Yeah, you want to be able to see a financial from last period to this period and know that I'm looking at office expense. It's the same, being categorized the same as last period to this period. We've seen where a new, in the restaurant industry, somebody comes in, they categorize office expense, and then the next period they do office supplies.
Right.
So when I'm comparing, I don't have actual comparisons, right?
Yeah.
Or from last year to this year, I'm not seeing the same percentage, right? So then it doesn't create clarity. Right.
And, that's where my mind went. I think you're absolutely right, Maria, too, with saying, there's a time and energy, amount of resource that goes into training somebody. And there's high turnover in the restaurant industry. So you're constantly just having to bring people up to pace to teach them the systems. And I think it's worth pointing out that, we have these amazing tools today, the technological tools. And if you know how to use those tools, they can be extremely powerful. They can give you data that you would have never otherwise had access to, a scorecard to be able to know how your efforts are manifesting on the back end. But if you don't know how to use those tools correctly, or if you are inheriting this, somebody that came before you, onboarded that tool, whether it be a Restaurant 365 or a Restaurant Systems Pro, that's a lot of work. You have that process, that learning curve to get everything into the system and then to learn the system. The likelihood that somebody else comes in and I think if you implement it, you have a better idea of how it works because you built it. Like you went in and you put everything in place. It's kind of like if you're a dishwasher and you get hired, you get there and you got to put the things away. And you're like, I don't know where this stuff goes. And it's the same with our software in the back end. Like you don't know where things belong or how to enter things. So not only is it a whole new system that you have to learn, but you don't understand what the other person who built it was thinking. So that's when, to your point, Joshua, that's when things start to really get messed up because there's inconsistencies. So just outsourcing this from day one and knowing that team, that entity that you outsource to isn't going anywhere, and you never have to put the time and energy into training, and you don't have to worry about the inconsistencies. That's huge.
It is.
Yes, it
like
is.
Massively huge. And I don't think this is all new to the restaurant industry. These are new problems, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You touch up something very important also when you say when you build that database, right, and somebody else take over, even the fact of building the database, because a lot of times when the clients sign up for a database like Restaurant 365, right, is giving a chef an accounting software to set up. And it's like giving me all the piece of the Ferrari to build, right? I'll probably not be able to build that car. And it's the same thing, right? The setup also is very important. Then after the setup, the maintenance of that database is very important, right? And I think having a team here that's going to create protocols and maintain the database, based on your concepts, based on your business, make a lot of difference, because then you gain visibility, not just data that doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my mind is going. I think we're going to unpackage some of the stuff. I don't want to get too far ahead, but I have more points to make. I'm just going to sit on them for now. Anything else to add relative to our second point to eliminate turnover?
No, I think we covered it.
Cool. Restaurant owners, what if I told you there was a way to lower your prime cost by $1,000 and get paid $1,000 on top of that? If it sounds too good to be true, it's not. Restaurant Systems Pro is offering that deal right now to 10 of my lucky listeners. Listen closely. Join the Restaurant Systems Pro 30-day prime cost challenge, and if you successfully improve your prime cost by $1,000 or more compared to the same 30 days the year prior, they will pay you $1,000. Find the link in the show notes titled Restaurant Systems Pro 30-Day Prime Cost Challenge. Click that link and get signed up today. Only 10 people are going to get approved into this program. Get on it. So far, 7 reasons to outsource your financial operations. Reason number 1, to get access to a team of specialists. Reason number 2, to eliminate turnover. And now reason number 3, because you don't know what you don't know. What do you mean by that?
So I think on multiple levels. So for a tax side, it's if you don't know about credits that you're missing or not taking advantage of, you're not going to know that you should be taking advantage of it. You're going to be missing out on a tip credit, work opportunity credit, research and development credit, and it's all relied upon on who's doing the return, who's doing the work, the books. It's something, if you don't know, you're not going to know.
Right.
And maybe you do some research here or there and you find out, oh, maybe I should be taking advantage of. But wouldn't it have been nice to have been taking advantage of it years ago, from the very beginning, so that you're not paying more taxes than what you should be, right? I think as well on the accounting side, going into depth, seeing the financials or making sure that everything is aligned. How we were discussing prior, doing that comparison, saying, am I comparing apples to apples, or is it more oranges to apples? I think it's also something, if you don't know,
can you give me an example of that, like a comparison of knowing what to compare, like in the world of restaurants?
Yeah, I would say, well, 1, COGS, labor is super important. But I've also seen where maybe in COGS it's not being labeled correctly. They put it under an unknown expense, and it should have been labeled into COGS. So then when I see COGS, it's off, right? I think that's huge, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to know my food cost.
What are some things you often see labeled as unknown that people miss? Give me an example.
I would say things that they're unfamiliar with, or maybe a new item that maybe on the accounting team doesn't know.
Got it.
And for us, it's something that we're used to. We're going to be able to know each line item and making sure that it is labeled correctly.
Yeah, and I think also talking about label correct, the consistency again, right? So I always give this example of supplies in janitorial, right? We have majority of our clients love to see gloves part of supplies. Some clients like to see janitorial. So right and wrong, in this case, right, it depends on how you're gonna budget that's line item of your P&L. But the most important thing is that every time that you buy the gloves, in this case, it should be categorized in the same way. So when I look my P&L, it makes sense. I mean, compare apples to apples. I'm not seeing. I'm giving the example of the gloves this month as a janitorial, next month as supplies.
Yeah, kitchen supply or something, right? Because you're on the line with it.
Exactly. So you cannot take, operational decisions. So that is, I think, for us, it's the financial P&L should not be used in the end of the year to file your tax return. The P&L and the balance sheets should be used to take operational decisions, right? Define budgets, define profitability targets, and how we're going to achieve the final goal. And in the categorization, another one that is very important is sometimes that item doesn't need to be expensed. We can record as an asset, and we can depreciate that asset, right? So it's very important to understand how to allocate the item to best tell the story, right?
Right. And the game of restaurants, it's not a game of dollars; it's a game of pennies, right? Mm-hmm. But it can be a game of thousands of dollars if you know what to look for. For example, you helped Jason Carrier save $7,000 a quarter because you knew what to look for. You found a discrepancy that he couldn't pick up on his own. Do you remember what that was? What the example was?
So, with there are a lot of things that we can help the clients to identify opportunities, right? And sometimes go above the P&L. Sometimes the client is not doing the tips withholding, right? Which is the merchant fee that you're being charged when you process the tips, right?
Okay.
With a client with a huge volume, we are talking about thousands of dollars. Right? This goes above and beyond and just do the bookkeeping and accounting, right? So the team will analyze not just the P&L and the balance sheet, but we can analyze voided payments, right? Voided orders, discounts. We're gonna define how much percentage-wise should be your what is acceptable for discount, what is acceptable for void payments, why this specific person is voiding more cash payments than credit card payments, what's going on here, right? So the savings in the bottom line goes above just the P&L. In regards the P&L, in regards the savings on the net profits, inventory is a big and huge tool that should be used in order to increase profitability, right?
Yeah.
Jason, he's an awesome operator, and when you understand your goal, you are able to work to achieve this goal.
Be on purpose.
Exactly.
Show up with intention every day.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of reminds me of something. I think, number one, again, to highlight what we've discussed so far, number one was to get access to the team of specialists. Number two was to eliminate turnover. And now we're talking about because you don't know what you don't know. And I don't think this came out in the first one, the team of specialists. You're also getting access to a CFO, a chief financial officer. That's something that you offer here, who can help you develop a strategy. And I think a lot of times, to your point, Maria, we operate blindly. We don't have goals. We don't have a strategy. We don't have a plan. We're just in survival mode. We're not working towards something. And having a CFO, they say an accountant looks to your past. A CFO looks to your future.
Exactly.
And based off your past, like here's the opportunity, here's the strategy. And you don't really have, when you don't have a person to mastermind with to develop a strategy, you don't know. You're going blind. What are your thoughts on that?
We always talk about being proactive, right? And manage. There's a big difference between manage than operate, and when we operate, we are opening the business, we do whatever needs to be done in order to move forward. When we manage, we planify.
Say that again. We what?
Planify.
Planify?
We have a strategy,
Got it.
right? We have a plan in front of us, so we can have the goals and work towards to achieve that goals. So I think the CFO, it's a lot about that, right? How we are operating today, and what do we need to do tomorrow? What do we need to do next month? And what do we need to do, next year,
right,
in order for us to grow from 1 location to 10 locations to 15 locations.
What's
right?
our target in 5 years? Okay, well, what do you have to do in the next year to be on track for that target? What do we have to do in the next quarter to be on track for that target? What do we have to do this week to be on track for that next Cerboni quarterly conversation? We don't want to let Cerboni down. We have goals in place.
Absolutely.
And you show up intentionally. One more thing, and Joshua, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I would say the goal is to prevent fires, not put out fires. I think that's super important, and also looking at the details. I think that's also part of the fractional CFOs that we provide. We're going to go into depth. It's something where we're going to let you know, oh, this doesn't make sense, or how Maria was mentioning, on the voids, are my servers doing this appropriately? Are they looking in the right places? I think we also like to say we specialize in this industry, but it's also like a doctor who specializes in certain areas, right? We're going to know where to look versus having someone who's a general accountant or a general CFO, won't necessarily know. They'll be learning as they go. We know. Yeah. I think it's super.
And I would say also to add to the CFO, and I know that's the conversation is going to evolve into there, but again, it's having access of a team of professionals, because on the CFO, we're not going to just talk again about P&L and balance sheets. We're going to talk about P&L balance sheets because that is, that is our Bible, right? We needed to look the numbers and see where we are at.
Scorecard, yeah.
But we're gonna talk about operation in the POS. But also, you're gonna have a team with you on the tax side that's gonna talk about tax strategy and go again above than how this entity is doing. If you are profitable, how we gonna strategize to pay less tax?
Yeah.
The team will understand, even personal
personal strategies on what we can do for sure,
right?
Yeah. So we've covered the first 3 of or did we get to number 4? No, we're about to go to number 4. The first 3. So of the 7 reasons to outsource your financial operations, number 1 was to get access to a team of specialists. Number 2, to eliminate turnover. Number 3, because you don't know what you don't know. And time for number 4, because it's the fastest way to scale. Why is that true?
Because fast way to grow, and how you're gonna go farther much quickly, right?
Right.
Again, it always involves about the team that you're gonna have, supporting your growth, right? What is the plan here, and how it's not having just somebody, a GM that is entering the invoice, or a team that is busy with other things and it's doing your books, or like Joshua mentioned, a general accounting team that is just plugging numbers. It's about strategy. With the strategy, we grow fast. Yeah, you're growing with a plan. You have like it kind of reminds me a little bit of EOS. Are you familiar with EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System? The whole idea of EOS is to help you develop routine and rituals to be able to scale, right? So you scale with intention. You show up every day working towards a goal. So you'll scale faster, and you can have teams to help you set those goals. But showing up with intention, not just being reactive, but proactive, is the way you scale. I have something else in mind, but I want to hear what you have to say first, Joshua.
Yeah, I would say it's when you have, I think it goes to our quote, in the beginning of the podcast. We're able to grow faster if you have a team, right? Especially if you have a team with the knowledge. If you have a team that doesn't have the knowledge, that doesn't know the restaurant industry, then it's not going to be growth. It's going to be more of a stagnant, and then it'll grow as it goes. I think for us, growth is an opportunity made when you have good operators, when you know your numbers, when you know the financials, you're taking a look at the balance sheet and the P&L, and you're able to make really good, smart decisions to be able to make that next step. And when having the conversation with us, we're going to take a look at all that. And we're going to be able to strategize and say, oh, your balance sheet is looking great. Your financials, well, we need to make these necessary changes in order to get there, right?
Yeah.
Especially with banks. I think banks now is asking for an arm and a leg, right? They're asking for everything. And it's really important to have those numbers concrete so that when you do give to a financial institution, you're going to be having the upper hand. You're going to have strength to be able to get that loan or get the financial backing.
Yeah. So a lot of the folks I spoke to are in the 1 to 2 unit range. Like they're showing a lot of promise for scale, right? So Mama Betty's right now is I guess 3 or 4 unit operator, and I spoke with Relish 2 unit operator, right?
Yes.
2 unit operator. I know that Weinenberger is looking to expand real soon as well. And one thing that we talk about on the show often is you have to build the house before you move in it. And there tends to be like roadblocks. Obviously, the first roadblock on your journey as a restaurateur is just getting open. It's 0 to 1 because that's hard. And then you figure it out, you start cruising and you get to like 2 or 3 and then you hit another roadblock because you need to grow your team. You need to, build your team before you want to get to the point where you have all the people, all the players you need to go real fast from 3 to 10, right? And you can do that in-house. You can build this team in-house, or you can flip a switch and get instant access to that team right now. That will help you focus on the other things, the 4 walls things, like the day-to-day, the stuff that you love, the creativity, the relationships, all that stuff, the operations. So I think just being able to hit a switch and to get instant access to those specialists to help you go from 3 to 10, that's super invaluable. Like, to me, that is the way. If you want to be an independent operator and scale quick, you have to outsource, because I don't think we can afford to do it in-house.
Exactly.
I don't want to get too far down because I don't want to get too far ahead of our list. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times when restaurateurs open, they're building the plane and flying it at the same time, and trying to manage that, trying to navigate that is very difficult. Having an outsourced Cerboni to be able to have that steady hand and say, hey, this is the plan of attack that needs to be taken. Here are the routes. Here's the journey that needs to be to get to where we want to have the end goal, right? I think it's super helpful.
And I think also it's a peace of mind, right?
Yeah.
Because operate a restaurant, I always say that we are in this business because we love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Because really, truly, I mean, there are other industries that when you say, well, we are aiming for 15-20%, they will say, are you crazy to work for 15-20%? And how many operators that is looking for the 10%? And how many?
That's not possible right now. But
looking for 5%. How many?
Jason, 25% profit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how many is looking for break even, right? So why you are in this industry is because of, we always say here that it's a restaurant is about passion and pennies, right? Because it's really, you love. Majority of our clients, they are in this industry because they love. So having a team that can take care about this part, the back office, the corporate office for them, allows them to operate and do what they do the best, right? The hospitality, the service, the food, and it's just smart to surround yourself of good professionals, right?
Yeah.
In any areas, in any departments, in any type of business.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Joshua?
No, I would just say to add on to what Maria said, it's a different animal, in the restaurant industry. It's something you have to really love, right? Yeah. We always kid around, and it's you can never leave the restaurant. right? It'll always bring you back in.
Yeah.
And we always we laugh about that because it's so true, right? It's even if you want to leave, you can't,
right?
Because it's a calling. It's something that you're going to be passionate about and enjoy.
Right. One more thing came to my mind relative to this fourth talking point, because it's the fastest way to scale. And it was a conversation I had with Sean Lyons, a member of our community, past guest on the show. When you're implementing new technology, you know what? This is a teaser for the next one because I think it might apply to this next one. So we've covered number 1, to get access to a team of specialists. Number 2, to eliminate turnover. And number 3, because you don't know what you don't know. We just did number 4 because it's the fastest way to scale. And number 5, you can avoid the technological nightmare. What do we mean by that? Restaurant owners, what if I told you there was a way to lower your prime cost by $1,000 month over month and get paid $1,000? That sounds like a deal too good to be true, but that's exactly the deal that Restaurant Systems Pro is offering 10 of my lucky listeners. So why are they doing this? Because they consistently help their clients get between 15 and 25% profit in their business. And when they approach new clients and say, I can do the same thing for you, they get met with a lot of resistance. And because it sounds too good to be true, most restaurants think if you do between 5 and 10%, you're doing good. So to hit 15 or 25%, like what do we have to sacrifice? What scam are you throwing at me, sir? No, thank you. But the truth is they really do help people hit these numbers. And the way they do it is by having all the most important systems that are tied to profitability fully integrated into an enterprise solution. I'm talking like accounting, inventory, scheduling, checklists, training systems, general ledger, balance sheets, costing cards. So when you have all those systems dialed in, ironclad, tied, connected, fully integrated in an enterprise solution, you get data. And when you have data, you can make little tweaks here and there. And those little tweaks, you can see the fruits of your labor, the effects of your efforts. And that's how you hit 15 and 25% profit. And on top of all this, they also have support, which is unheard of in today's age. So you get all these things compounded that help you hit that 15 to 25%. And if I have your attention, keep listening. Join the Restaurant Systems Pro 30-day Prime Cost Challenge, and if you successfully improve your prime cost by $1,000 or more compared to the same 30-day period last year, they will pay you $1,000. If you're listening on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, find the show notes, and we will have a link titled Restaurant Systems Pro 30-day Prime Cost Challenge. Click that link and get signed up today. Only 10 spots, guys. Do not wait. Get your spot, lower your prime costs by $1,000 and get paid that $1,000. They're actually calling this a reverse guarantee. Get on it.
Today, we have so many options out there, right? So many options of POS, of inventory softwares, of payroll platforms, of accounting softwares, QuickBooks, Restaurant 365, Sage. So what is the best for you, right? Sometimes what is the best for this group is not necessarily what's the best for you, right? I mean...
And you get this constant barrage online of people trying to say that they have the secret, that this is we're always marketing. We're always trying to sell something, and you don't know what is actually the best for you. And to your point, there are no two restaurants that are exactly the same. So having a partner who knows where you are and what you need, the bare minimum, and then can help make suggestions as you scale. To take that stress of knowing what to invest in off the table so you can just do what you love. I mean, I know you guys are a financial all-in-one service, but today finances is operation, and the technology, the technological solutions, while they're operational solutions, they're tied to your financial performance. So you know that world really well. You're an expert in restaurant technology by just by default.
Yes. So here, the clients will have a team that will define this technology suite, right? And I think that is also very important because it's important that your accounting team understands your inventory software, understands your scheduling software, understands our accounting software. So it makes everything start to make sense.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Yeah, just the puzzle is always going to be, it's always a puzzle. It's going to be all scrambled. How do we put this puzzle together? What softwares do we need to build upon? Right?
How do we avoid redundancy?
Because we noticed that there's tons of software, as Maria mentioned. A lot of it's good software, but a lot of it at the same time, maybe you don't necessarily need at that point in time.
Right.
Maybe you don't.
Or maybe there's a better solution, a cheaper, a more affordable solution.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, you don't know. This could go back to what we said earlier. You don't know what you don't know. Especially, there's a little bit of there's a little overlap here. So I brought up before Sean Lyons, and one thing that he brought up that when you're a restaurateur and you're pushing to scale, you're pushing to grow, you're pushing to do the next thing to take you to the next level, you have to get team buy-in, and it takes a lot of energy and a lot of getting people excited for the future. And if you adopt, say, a Restaurant 365 or a Restaurant Systems Pro, and you get your team bought in on this future, all the hard work we're about to do, it's going to be a lot of work to get that thing onboarded, the new habits and routines and skills we're all going to have to learn. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do all this extra work, to do it right. If you don't do it right the first time, good luck getting your team to buy in the second time, because they're going to know how that ends. So if you can take people who are technology specialists and do it right the first time, and then your team instantly gets the benefits of the effort of the investment. So now you can get access to this data and you can play the game of business because now you have a scorecard, and that's exciting. It is hard to get people to buy in twice. And that was what I was sitting on. That's what came to my mind when we're also talking about it's the fastest way to scale, because you can't start and go.
Exactly. I think it comes into the builds that we were talking before, right? You want to go and buy your Ferrari and drive your Ferrari. You don't want to build your car. And a lot of times, a lot of clients come to us for number one service is cleanup of database, right? So it's much harder to clean up your database than set up your database correctly and have, a team that can build the database for you, right? So I think that is also super important. If you're not using those softwares yet, right, strategize what is the best software and set up the software correctly from day one is the best thing to do, right? If you already you're already using those softwares and for some reason, if the database is messy, clean up the database as soon as possible always is very important, because a mess database is equal expense.
Right.
It's not an investment.
Honestly, I would recommend what Jason Carrier did, and don't even try to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Because if that's not that is not time well spent for you.
Absolutely.
You will not do it right the first time.
Absolutely.
If you do it right the first time, you should be an accountant. You're in the wrong line of business, right? Because we're just, I don't know. It's just outsource it.
Yes.
I truly believe that, and that's one of the lessons I learned, and I'll share more on that. Joshua, any thoughts on?
As well, if you don't use the software to its full extent, I bought the bells and whistles, but I'm not using it.
Right.
Then, as Maria mentioned,
it's all the time.
It's an expense.
Yeah.
I'm not utilizing to the full extent that I bought it for, or the purpose for. So it's more of how can we just use what we need, and as we grow or as we need, we build upon that.
Right. And I see all the time where people will invest in the technology thinking that, if I pay my monthly bill, my problems are solved. No, that's just getting access to the tool to be able to do it right. But you still have to leverage the tool the way it was intended to be leveraged.
Yes.
And that's not easy to execute there's a learning curve there,
Yes.
It's a tool, like you mentioned. I think it's super important to mention that, because it's not magic. Everything still needs a human with knowledge. It's not going to do everything for you.
You will not replace the service.
Right.
You're going to have the tool, but you need to, be able to manage.
Should we move on to number 6?
Yeah.
So number 1, to get access to a team of specialists. Number 2, to eliminate turnover. Number 3, because you don't know what you don't know. Number 4, because it's the fastest way to scale. Number 5, you can avoid the technological nightmare. And then number 6, it's less expensive than doing it in-house.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. We've been alluding to it the entire time. I think a lot of people they think to themselves, I can't afford an all-in-one financial solution that includes bookkeeping, taxes, CFO. Like, who can afford that? But why is that not the case? Why can't more people afford it than we realize?
Because a solution like that should not be a cost. It should be an investment.
Yep.
And a solution like that, this is our mindset here at Cerboni. We don't want to be a cost. We don't want to decrease your profitability, your bottom line. We want your bottom line to, we want to make an impact into our bottom line, right? You're going to invest in a team of professionals that's going to be working with you towards your success. Now, if you are paying for the services, it's not just another cost. It's opportunity on how we're gonna increase profitability. So it becomes an investment,
right? And I think people see the line item and they think, I can't see. You can't afford not to do it. And you have to trust that by making the investment, you'll make up the difference on the back end. Joshua?
Yeah, I would say if it is, you have something in-house, alleviating from payroll, the benefits, the taxes the unemployment that may occur. I think that's something where also we take into consideration on the cost, right? Yeah. Versus having it outsourced, you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
You don't have to worry about the benefits, unemployment, the taxes on the employee. It's savings.
Right. I think that one's pretty straightforward. Should we move to number 7?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to read through them again. I want to really drive them home. Number 1, to get access to a team of specialists. Number 2, to eliminate turnover. Number 3, because you don't know what you don't know. Number 4, because it's the fastest way to scale. Number 5, you can avoid the technological nightmare. Number 6, less expensive than doing it in-house. And then lastly, to get more time back doing what you love. More time and money back. Why is that the case?
I would say more time, more money in the aspect of you're going to be doing what you love. Right? You don't have to do the busy work, the paperwork, dealing with the invoicing, dealing with the software.
Sitting behind a computer.
Sitting behind the computer.
Right.
You didn't do or you didn't open or create the business to be doing that.
Yeah, we usually leave the desk, like the world of people in the restaurant industry can't not sit down behind a computer. They need to be going, they need to be moving, they need to be engaging with people.
Definitely.
Yeah. For a lot of our clients, we're their corporate office, right? So for a lot of our clients, we have groups that work with us it's growing and they don't need to hire somebody else to be in the office, right? They upload the invoice into the system. We take from there. We pay the vendors. We map that invoice. We record the daily sales summary. We reconcile their banks. We provide the financials. The inventory team will work with their team on a weekly basis, on a period basis. The CFO team gonna define strategies. So you have a whole team here thinking about, your administrative portion of the business for you, allow you have more time for you and allowing also define rooms of opportunity to increase profitability.
Yeah. So when I asked some of your clients this week, why Cerboni, I go, what is Cerboni to you in one sentence or one word some people use? Freedom was one, peace of mind is the other. And again, I don't think restaurant owners get into the restaurant business to sit behind a computer and to crunch numbers and to play with technology. They want to be serving their team. They want to be developing opportunity for people, making people become better versions of themselves, serving their community. We love that human interaction. We love making things better, right? Mm-hmm. Communities better. And when you can just delegate, outsource the monotony of financials and technology and a tax season and like all this stuff that we just cringe. I'm one of those people that cringes with this stuff. And I think that I'm a common avatar of your typical restaurant owner. If I could just hit a button and say, you guys take care of this, I would 100% do that. So, I mean, I don't think I could survive without a service like Cerboni, if I'm being honest. Somebody like me, which is most restaurant owners.
And as an operator, your time is more valuable operating a restaurant than being in the office behind a computer. Mm-hmm. You're going to make more money growing your business than behind of the computer, plugging numbers. Now, you need the visibility, right, to take the financial decisions, the operation decisions, and that is what the time can be allocated, right?
Yeah, yeah. This has been a lot of fun. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, I don't. I think we covered it all with our 7.
Yeah, we covered a lot. And I just want to say, I started this podcast to be a student, because I wanted to go out and I wanted to find patterns and I wanted to make an example of people doing good work. And I'm trying to crack the code. And, looking to the future, I'm worried for independent restaurant operators. It's getting harder and harder. Cost of goods going up, labor going up, rent going up. Literally everything is going up. And it's getting, I think it's we're moving in a future where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And I do think that a part of the solution for independence, I want to see, my goal is to get more 10 to 20 unit operators in the world, less 100 unit operators. And I think this is a part of that puzzle. Cerboni Services, all-in-one financial solutions are part of that puzzle to help close the gap, to help give the independent hope to be able to have a chance. We have to leverage technology and we have to lean on specialists, and services like this put the specialists in reach, and it also gets the roadblocks off the table for restaurant operators. I think it is a part of the solution going forward. So if you are an independent restaurant operator, you're trying to scale, you're trying to figure out what GM or a person, director of operations, director of finance, director of marketing, like, look to the world of fractionals, look to the world of all-in-one solutions. I do think it's part of the solution.
Yes, absolutely. I think having the fractional CFO, the fractional financial advisor, really helps you to have visibility of our business, right? And that is how successful operators can grow faster, right? Knowing where their numbers at, where they are spending the money, where we have a possibility to work and reduce costs. Like you mentioned, everything is going up, and not necessarily we are able to increase menu items, in the same speed, right? So that it's important to strategize.
Yeah. Joshua?
Yeah. I think a good way of saying is we remove those financial blind spots. As Maria mentioned, there's going to be strategic things that we're going to be able to advise upon. Not everything we'd be able to increase the menu price, even though the cost of meat is going up, right? I think it's being able to strategize to have a good solution to be able to grow.
Right. And, I'm always surprised. I see a lot of people spending thousands of dollars and I don't want to say there's no place for the world of coaches and consultants. There's place for that. But if you can afford $1,000, $2,000, some people pay as much as $50,000 or $100,000 for a coach or consultant. I think there's better ways to spend our money. We can hire the experts and have them be a part of our team and get more than just information on how to do it right, but actually somebody to do it right. And I think that's how we have to think going forward. And we are in a partnership right now. Cerboni Services is supporting this podcast. We have partnered. You are helping do what I do. You're helping make the work I do possible. So I want to publicly say thank you for your support. So your support in just helping put gas in my tank and helping me connect with leaders in Houston and Dallas to get on the show. And if you are interested in Cerboni Services, call this number, 281-888-2413, and get your free 30-minute consultation to discover more about Cerboni and how they can streamline your operations. And if you call that number and mention Restaurant Unstoppable, you will get 20% off your first month of services. So thank you for supporting this mission. Thank you for the work you're doing to support your community here of restaurant owners in Houston and beyond. You are a national service. You want to make sure that's clear. Any final thoughts? Before we say goodbye?
We want to say thank you. Yeah.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric, for coming out. And it's been great.
All right, guys. Now is when I say there is no questioning. You are unstoppable. Cheers.
Thank you.